All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Shaunie B. And if you're cool with your girl, food with your girl. Today is November the 10th, and we are here in the studio again doing another show with people that I genuinely care about. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself shortly, but you guys want to tune into this because this is an entrepreneur. And I'm serious. Y'all better get these notes y'all about to get today. So I use this show as an extension of my many entertaining platforms so we can help show my vision, my gifts, and share it with people that I want to win as well, motivate and encourage them. So if you guys are interested in calling in, the number is 203-802-5694. The lines will be open until we leave this place. So the topic today is going to be domestic violence, and my subtitle to that is loving you while losing me. So a lot of times people go through those stages and they don't know how to challenge what domestic violence is. So I have an author, an entrepreneur, and my friend in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Authoress Black Butterfly in the building.
Come through. So you guys are going to see this. Make sure you take notes because like I tell you guys, if you have a gift, a skill set, a hobby, all you got to do is put time and effort into it and it'll come to works for you.
Very true.
So just in case, like I said, we are talking about the domestic violence. I want to give you guys the hotline phone number if you are in need or you know somebody that needs help. Don't steer away from dialing this number. 911 is the first option for you guys. Right. But if you want to be anonymous or confidential and you want help 24/7, then you can contact the National Domestic Hotline number, which is 1-800-799-7233, which is spelled out SAFE. And if you need the TTY edition, is 1-800-787-3224. So make sure you guys get that number locked in so you can help somebody because a lot of people don't know that they're being abused. All right. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm
She's
ready.
scared. She said, who was that singing that hook? That's me singing. Why can't it be me?
I did not know that was you. I was like, okay, she got somebody singing for her.
Nah, just kidding. Let me not shy away from my homegirl. That's my best friend singing on the hook. Shout out to Kelly Nicole out there. But no, but it could have been me.
It could have.
Okay, I'm just making sure you know. I got the pipes. Is what I want to.
It's all right. Everyone has it.
Oh, okay. But I've been humming though. I've been humming for about 15 years.
Okay.
Got about 3 platinum albums with the L extended through the albums. You know, you're from the South. K Boogie, she's laughing now, so I got to get this game rolling. She don't know what's about to hit her. She was nervous, but they all are nervous.
Okay.
All right, so this is the game. Tell us a little more about you, where you were with absolutely nothing. But we're gonna get all up in her business. She's talking about tell me the answers. No, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Tell me what's going on.
Not at all. But it's easy. This is not gonna be anything that's challenging. We just want to know your thoughts. So I'm gonna read some things to you, and it's gonna be this or that. Pick what is best for you, and then I'll get a little explanation. Sounds easy, right?
Sounds okay.
Okay, there you have it. Okay, Boogie, you can tune that out. Let's get it. So do you prefer Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives?
I prefer Love and Hip Hop.
Okay, why?
Because Basketball Wives, they're too extra. They seem extremely messy. Like I feel like I'm back in high school to where it's like the popular girls. You know? And so it's like bullies. It's more of like bullies. Love and Hip Hop is a little bit more relatable. They have a good storyline, and it seems like it's just a little bit more drama.
Okay.
Drama, but not too much messiness and cattiness.
There you have it. Lately I've been not watching either of the two because of the bullying. But if I had to choose one, I probably would go with Love and Hip Hop too. Basketball Wives, all of them have so much money and they're still miserable.
Exactly.
Even the executive producer, Shaunie, shout out to you, Shaunie, but you be messy and petty. And I don't know.
It's like she's gotten worse over the years.
Right. Y'all take trips to argue, and I can't get groovy with that. At least with Love and Hip Hop, every character, even though Mona Scott kind of gives them this extended storyline, you can still have their personality kind of play out a little bit. So do you prefer a tall man or a short man?
I prefer tall men. I'm already 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, so average height for a woman.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't know if I can be looking down at my man and talking to him.
Well, Probably get beat up after that. Well, I prefer. I don't really have a preference. I'm more of a personality person. But my husband is a shorter guy, and we always take pictures where I'm standing up and he's sitting down. So a little ratio for the camera, you know.
Okay.
So no one knows that he's short. Yeah, he's gonna think I'm roasting. I'm not. Do you prefer?
Nothing wrong.
I love my little to-do-wop.
Yeah.
Do you want a 2-door car or a 4-door car?
Definitely 4-door.
Okay.
I'm not a little person, so I have to have the room. So yeah, definitely 4-door. Preferably an SUV too.
Okay, you balling. Okay. I'm with you with the 4-door. I hate doing one of these moving the seat up. A matter of fact, I don't even like people sitting behind me. But 2-door, nah. But my dream car was always a Mustang, and a Cutlass. Those are my 2 dream cars. So
they just sit too low.
They do sit low. You do gotta put them on some 22s, but yeah, I still would, outside of those 2 cars, 4-door all day. I don't really know about the SUV though, because I don't like the trunk. You know, you can see in the trunk.
Well, I have a hatchback, and so you can actually have they have like this liner now to where when you lift it up and close it, they can't.
Right, it looks like some carpet or something right there. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of rental cars with that lately. Now, do you pick your outfit out in advance, whether you're going to work or going to the club, or whatever? Do you pick it out in advance or the day of?
Man, no, I pick it out a few minutes before.
Oh, minutes. So not even minutes. So you rushing.
Yeah, sometimes I'm rushing. It depends on what it is. Like for my photo shoot, I actually had to plan that out.
Right.
You know? But if we're just going somewhere, we're doing something, then yeah, I'm just going to hop in my closet, pull whatever I got out. Yep.
I'm gonna get my stuff ready in advance. Like all my work clothes this week are earned. I know I'm wearing Monday through Thursday, because Friday is a jeans day, and I got to show out on the people on jeans days. But more than likely they in advance, because I just don't have time. I'm already pushing for time. My schedule busy. I can't be trying to pick it out.
Nah, I can't do that.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna find out in the morning what I'm wearing.
No, ma'am.
In the morning, tomorrow at work.
No, wait. But you stay, very where you have to work and where you commute from is shorter distance. I'm coming from Timbuktu. Do you prefer self checkout or the actual register where you got the human that's scanning your groceries?
Self checkout, because I do couponing.
Okay, so you the one. Boop, boop. Excuse me, ma'am. It was 3 buy 1 get 3 free.
Yeah, and then like if it's at Kroger is my best store, y'all. So I get my deals, and then I want to make sure if I'm getting my 5 for $5, I want to make sure after I ring up my 5, I want to see it on. You want to see the right. Yeah, and see when you're doing it with the person, they kind of get irritated after. You're like, hold on, let me. What's the subtotal? And so they yeah.
So do you say Kroger or Kroger's?
I say Kroger.
So why you looking bad at me like?
Well, because it's like no, it's Target. It's not.
Well, I say that because there is no S on Kroger, but I still throw an S on it. It's to call it Kroger's. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's plural stores. There's many of them.
Thank you for holding me down. I call it Shells. There ain't no S on the Shells gas station. Shell. Walmart's. And I'm just kidding. I don't call it no Walmart.
Oh, okay. I was going to back that one now.
No, I'm pushing with that. So, do you like to self park or you like somebody to valet your car before you get the ticket?
I'll self park, but if the valet is kind of free, I'll go ahead and park my car for me. Go ahead.
Know what? I don't want nobody in my whip. Like when I drive to a restaurant or something, especially downtown, I have to valet. Oh, I be irritated. Well, I just don't like people in my car.
Well, because you have the people that's gonna that's gonna steal,
right?
So I get it.
And they be driving.
Take your stuff out of there.
Have you ever seen them valet somebody else's car when you walking into the establishment? They just be burning rubber all in the parking lot.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Parking tight in the parking spots. Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. Now, are you a phone interview person or do you prefer to interview in person with somebody?
Oh, I would say that I like to interview face to face.
Okay.
Because then they can gauge like my sincerity and my questions sometimes. I say that's 50-50 because then they'll be staring at you.
Is it very intense
to your soul, and it's like, oh man, and I start sweating, I stutter, and
right.
So, I don't know.
I'm with you on a 50-50. Okay, is this an employer? You're locked into Shaunie's world. What's your name? They fired. Anywho, I would say 50-50. But the phone interview, I can kind of cheat my way through it because I can write down some. Well, as they're asking me stuff, I could have time to think about it. They don't know what my facial expressions look like. But in person, it is that intense stare. And I'm like, oh my God, am I doing this right? Am I saying this right? And there's normally a panel of people interviewing you.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Yes.
So we have some, they about to get ignored, K-Boogie. You want me to answer it? All right, I'm going to give it to them. You locked in with Shaunie's World. What's your name? This is who?
I'm more high. I'm trying to listen to the radio broadcast.
Yeah, you on live. You doing all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
yeah, I'm fine. How are you? I was listening to the radio broadcast. Is this a number to ask questions?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you might hold for just a second. I'll get into the questions.
Oh, no, I don't have any questions. I just want to listen if there's a way to listen.
Oh, yes. Go to kmwi-media.com and you can hit the link on live streaming and it'll get you locked in.
Okay, what was that again?
kmwi-media.com and then hit the live streaming button and it'll let you lock in.
kmwi-media.com.
Yeah. KM, like me. Yeah, this show, you're a live show. You can't make this up. KMWI-media.com. All right, sir. Well, I'm live on the air, boo. I gotta go. Man, he's shuffling and looking for stuff. I don't know who that was. You never know what goes on live TV, but. Right, he called right at the top. So I appreciate the love. Like I said, you can't script this out. This is gonna be the ghetto side of this. That was the ghetto right there. But do you say salmon or salmon?
Salmon.
Salmon. Okay. Do you say pecan or pecan? Pecan.
Pecan.
Pecan. Okay. Literally or literally?
Literally.
Thank you. Okay. I just want to make sure because I heard this all this past week. I said I'm gonna ask her because.
No, because if it was literally, then it would be T-R-E. It's T-E-R.
Listen, people make their own vocabulary. Like when they say Lancaster. Who?
Interest or interest?
Interest or interested?
Or interest.
Interest. Let me say. So what you say, K Boogie?
It depends on what movement.
See what I'm talking about? Okay. They say Lancaster or Lancaster. Which one is it?
Yeah, Lancaster.
It's Lancaster 100%, but as long as I've lived here, they keep saying Lancaster. I'm like, where's Lancaster at? There ain't no K in there. Ain't no, So anyway, we spinning out of the game. We're going to hop right on into this topic with this author, this mother, my home slice boogie woogie woogie. Man, she out here doing big things. If you guys have the chance, I have one of the books that I read. She has multiple books, but this is the
other ones I brought with me too.
Come on now, come on. Go and show the people the book covers. This is Blind Love. It was a good read. I did read it on the way to Vegas a few weeks ago. So yes, show them that.
My first one. This is Stress Reliever Part 1. I don't know.
Yeah, you should be able to zoom. Hold it up for him one more time. Hold it closer. He gonna zoom in for the people.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is Part 2 of Stress Reliever.
Perfect. And then you can show them the one I just showed
and
them.
And then, of course, this is Blind Love. This is the one that I'm making into the movie.
Oh, you doing movies too?
Yeah, got to.
I see what I'm talking about. You gotta keep your vision going. Keep it going.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of people are going through scenarios right now because Blind Love is based on domestic violence. Okay. And I'm not going to give you guys the full story because I'm not one of those people that ruin power for me every weekend. But it's one of those scenarios where a lot of people don't know the signs of domestic violence. Right. And people go through patterns and they think that's love, where they think, okay, it's going to change over time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a few signs that I found on the internet, and a lot of people can relate to those just in general, witnessing people go through it. Signs of DV, which is domestic violence. If your partner ever bullies you or threatens you or controls you, that's a domestic violence relationship. If they ever accuse you of having an affair, and it's verbal, definitely that's one of those signs you need to pay attention to. If they're always blaming you for the abuse that they put on you, you're a victim of domestic violence. Right. Criticize you, tell you what to wear, how you should look, threatens your life or your loved one's life. Those are all signs of domestic violence. They tend to throw things, punch walls, or punch things around the home or the car or whatever. Again, pay attention. Yells at you, make you feel small, controls your money. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of people saying, I have an allowance. I'm like, girl, what? Keeps your cash or credit cards from you. Kind of keeps tabs on what you really spend. Keeps you from working whatever job you really want. Yeah. Worried about your dress code that you wear to work. Steals money from you or your friends. Cuts you off from family and friends. I mean, the list goes on. And then lastly, if they embarrass you in front of others, again, this is a sign or signs of domestic violence. So do you have any words for anybody out there that is going through domestic violence?
Well, I would always say, you know, you have to know the signs as far as when it comes down to friends of people that are in domestic violence or a domestic violence situation, because there's more than just physical abuse. There's mental abuse, you know, that emotional abuse, kind of like the things that you were saying, belittling, right, putting a person down, all of that. That can mentally take a toll on someone as well. So there are the signs. I've had two different coworkers that came to work with black eyes.
Wow.
And they made excuses for the other person. One person just flat out lied and was like, oh, I got this from somebody else, and it was an allergic reaction just on one eye.
Mm-hmm.
Just on one?
Right.
You're just gonna do one?
Right.
Okay. So it's like you have to just pay attention. The robust, voiceful person all of a sudden turns to where they're more silent. Mm-hmm. They don't really talk as much. They start to just stray off by themselves.
Right.
So it's more of paying attention. You know, you have to pay attention to those signs. Of course, we're always busy every day, but paying attention to those small signs, that can actually be a difference between life and death.
Very much so.
Because you know that you can have that person here, and then that person that guy can snap, or that so men get abused
right,
too.
Men get abused too. We don't want to stray away from that.
That person can snap, and then boom, the next day they're not there at work.
Yes, very uncomfortable feeling. When I was in high school, my mom and I were walking to Kroger's with an S, and there was a car in the actual alleyway looking for a parking spot. Okay. It was summer day, the windows were down, and as we walked past the car, all I heard was, I heard that noise. So I looked back and the windows were down. So the person in the car was yelling these curse words at the female in the car. So there was a female that was in the front. There was a male that was in the back. And then there was the driver. So the driver decided to punch the girl in the face because he wanted his friend to ride in the front seat and her riding the back. So when he punched her in her face. And her face, we went to school together, so her face shattered. But the guy in the back was laughing the entire time. Like, yeah, dog, that's funny, man. Get her, man. Mm-hmm. So for me, seeing it at a young age, I think I was a freshman or something. She was a senior. I was uncomfortable. To see her the next day, because you only heard the contact, you didn't see the damage. I was like, yo. But I can tell you one thing that she didn't do. She didn't let him drive off. She hopped in the steering wheel side of the car and started giving him the same treatment back.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure she stayed, because women, and sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, because we make excuses for what it is that they're doing. You know, whether it's, oh, well, we have children by them, mm-hmm, and they don't want to, I don't want to split up the family, or I still love him, and in his past, the stuff that he went through as a child was a reason why he kind of did that. He saw his dad beating on his mom, right? You know, and so there is a way to break that generational curse, you know. So, but it's us as women, sometimes we make those excuses for those men.
That's true.
So I can almost guarantee, even though she was hitting on him,
right,
I can almost guarantee she didn't leave.
Right. And I don't know if he went to my school or not, but I just remember looking at her in the hallway and I was like, man, that was a hard punch. And I was glad she stood up for herself. But then we have to realize, was that the breaking point for her to finally take up for herself, or has she always been taking hits their entire relationship? So I was always uneasy, and that was years ago. I mean, I'm 21. I'm not going to tell my age difference, because I know y'all trying to do the math and stuff. But that was years ago, and it still haunts me to even remember that. So a lot of people, like you said, don't pay attention to the signs, and it's sometimes verbal. Mm-hmm. Everybody's looking for a physical altercation, and sometimes it's a verbal abuse that people put on you. I had another situation where I was talking to a friend on the phone, and we were talking about everyday things, and the person that they were dating was like, hang up the phone now. So this whole conversation, I'm like, girl, no. And it was one of those scenarios where he paid all the bills. So when he paid all the bills, she had nothing. He'd moved out and left her in the dark, and she had nothing. So I was just like, man, this is some crazy stuff. But sure, she, left that scenario, thank God, because like you said, it's life or death. But it just makes you uncomfortable because we can't save everybody. We can tell you that we want you to leave and we can give you a place to go, but that puts you in danger as well. So
it definitely does. It definitely does. Just like it was a guy that tried to intercede, and this was like a few years ago at like a gas station. And I mean, this guy was like dragging her out the car, and this guy jumped in to to save her.
Right.
And the guy shot and killed. And so it's kind of like nowadays, do I step in
or away?
Do I just try to call the police? Or it's like, what do you do?
Right.
And so some people, they get, what can you say, like ostracized, or they get pretty much like, well, when you pulled your camera out and you're over here recording,
right,
instead of getting in. But it's like, okay, why would I jump into this?
Not knowing what weapons they have.
The police are already on their way, so what else am I do so I can be able to prove that this is what happened?
There you have it.
So.
But like you said, most people take that person back. So you might get beat up, bruised up, or killed, and that person goes back. So again, like I said to you guys earlier, if you have questions, definitely give us a call in. She's going to be here to answer your questions, 203-802-5694. But in your book, in your Blind Love book, you actually have some statistics that I want to read out because again, somebody's listening and it's not processing that they're in an abusive relationship. So statistically speaking, about 4,000 women die each year due to domestic violence. An intimate partner violence, a crime that largely affects women. In 1999, women accounted for 85% of victims of intimate partner violence. On average, a woman will leave an abusive relationship 7 times before she leaves for good. That's a lot of times to take somebody back.
Yeah.
1 out of every 3 women will be abused at some point in their life. And then on the other side, we have 73% of male abusers were abused as children. I've always said it's norm behavior.
Right.
Many abusers may have seen a parent or guardian abusing another while growing up. That's again another factor. So please, again, guys, pay attention to these red flags. I tell people this every day. Love shouldn't hurt.
Exactly.
I've never personally been abused. I can't speak for you, but I've never been in that scenario. It's easier telling somebody to leave and you've never dealt with that scenario.
But see, I can say that I have.
Okay.
And it was very short-lived.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
And but he realized, okay, no, this is the one I can't put my hands on. And of course, it was short-lived with me being with that person.
Right.
Because at me growing up, I had to witness that, with my mom. My mom went through domestic violence for a long time. And it took, I want to say I was 9 years old when she finally, left and was like, I can't do this. And she left with 5 children and just literally had clothes tied up in some covers. And we went to go stay down in Salina with family members we never even met.
Right,
but that was
safety.
the only way that we could escape, we could escape. And so, now the person has changed their ties, and this was my dad.
Right.
But my dad, I'm so proud of him now because he's it's a growing process. And so he saw, of course, his family member, his dad and grandpa do the same thing to their women. And so, of course, you think that's what you're supposed to do. My dad was forced to grow up fast because he had my brother at 16. And so it was like, in his mind, this is what I have to do to get this person to listen to me and to be controlled. This is what family do. And so now you know, he doesn't do any of that. He's married.
Good.
He's, you know, I have other brothers and sisters now, and I'm very proud of him. So he's
Good.
made that change.
That change, and I applaud that. Like I said, this show isn't to bash people that are trying to change. We're definitely
Right.
just trying to get people to leave situations where people aren't changing. That's a good, successful story. It really is, because people over time just realize this is not what it should be. And then losing your family like that, and they're moving away from you because you're this person. I know that can like stab a person in the stomach. Leaving you alone, and again, I've seen it a numerous amount of times. People going through it, and the excuses. I haven't seen anybody with a black eye at my job or anything, but I wouldn't even know what to do. I wouldn't know. All I can do is say, you know, let's call this domestic violence hotline, but a lot of people are scared.
Oh, they're not going to do it. A lot of times they're not going to do it. It'll sometimes have to be someone that you're very close to, or it's going to be someone that really wants to leave that situation.
Right.
And so you can talk until you're blue in the face. Like, you know, my aunts used to tell my mom, you know, you gotta do this, and we would always leave and go to my aunt's house, and
Right.
but we would always want to go back.
Right.
And so it takes that person to want to just get tired, you know, and that's just what it is, you know, and you wind up losing yourself in the meantime, because you turn into this person where you used to be this strong-willed, strong-minded person. When you love someone, sometimes you can love someone so hard that, again, you make those excuses for them. So while they're constantly doing whatever it is that you're doing, you're thinking, okay, well, he loves me. He hasn't went anywhere, so he's still with me. I know that I messed up. That's why he's so angry at me.
Right. Just making the excuse. So I hope that this show helps somebody see the bigger person in them, so they're able to leave. Definitely keep the people that you know love you close, because a lot of you guys are cutting those relationships off, and then you have nowhere else to go. And when I was reading Blind Love, man, I was turning these pages left and right. I am excited to even see you have 3 books that you wrote. And the fact that this one here was it took me around the curve. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready. I wasn't.
Everyone says that, because I have to have like a little part in the middle to where it's like, wait a minute, what?
Because I was on the plane. I was like, can we fly somewhere else? Let me get to the end of this. It was really interesting. So I'm going to skip into the conversations about your books. Okay. Well, I've only read one, so I have to only go on this one. But in general, my questions will steer around the author side of you. Okay. So, has writing always been your niche?
Well, I can say that it was. I've always been an avid reader. Like growing up, so many books I've read. Like my bookshelves it started with the Babysitter's Club. Okay. And then I'll say in the 7th grade, I started writing poetry. And that my mom, like I would submit them into like different contests, and I was like winning 1st place, 2nd place, and then when I went national, it won 3rd place, and it got published in a book.
So what age was this again?
This was while I was in the 7th grade.
So you was a genius.
Well,
don't say yeah. Say yeah.
No, I wouldn't say a genius. Genius are some of the kids that are still in middle school age, to high school age, and they are in college.
They got about 3 doctorates,
right? Yeah, but that's always been my niche. And then before I worked where I work at now, I used to work at law enforcement. Oh, and so I did that for 7 years. Yeah, I worked at Loose Derrick. Okay. And so sometimes, like my first book, actually my very first book that I wrote, I hand wrote it, and it's not even published. But what I would do is when I would write so many chapters, I stayed in, I worked in a direct supervision one. So just like how I'm sitting here talking to you, right. I would be in there with 64 men, and it'll just be me locked into their housing unit for my 8 hours.
What? Did you have no cage or nothing to protect you?
I'll be in there with them. And then so I had to make my little hourly rounds, right? You know? So it was, that's what I did. And then so sometimes when I wrote so many chapters, you know, it will be some of like the trustee inmates that will clean. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, tell me what you think about this.
Right.
Because believe it or not, like the main audience that read, they have nothing else to do in there. They read. And so they have stacks of books and they read and they be like, man, Miss Thompson, wow, this is nice. Right. And so they're like, you got something here. But I did not publish my very first book until I left and I, you know, started working where I work now.
Right. Well, that's awesome to see that you had that instilled in you as a, I guess 7th grade, we call it middle school, right? Mm-hmm. Man. Because a lot of people come into their niches later on in life, and they've always known that they were gifted at it, but that was something they just did for fun, not necessarily something they want to pursue. So I'm happy to say that you've been doing this for some years.
Yeah, for some years.
Okay. So do you have a favorite author?
Oh man, I have a few. Well, Zane was always, even though, so I was sneak and read Zane, right? So I was sneak and read it because you know,
it was nasty.
It very, but I read it,
right?
You know, and so I read Demaya S. Poole. Okay, but she doesn't have any books out anymore now. But I loved her books. Ashton Jaquavius, Sister Soldier, man.
So I laugh because, well, my favorite author is Carl Weber. If you've seen, he spun his books into a BET movie. I want to say it's called The Family Business.
He was just down in Houston last year too.
Come on, man! I should have down on the freeway. Well, but Zane was the one that, like you said, my mama had in her catalog. Mama was freaky. Had in her little catalog, and I would sneak and go read it. And you always knew you were reading a Zane book because the first page started out so sexy.
Yeah.
You know, as I sit here in the tub with my leg cocked open, you be like, "Ooh!" What happened
you
next?
have to. That's the prologue,
right?
And
right.
That's just like even in my books, that's that prologue, and you have to. It's a portion of the book that is going to grab their attention without telling anything.
Right. And I was flipping through them pages. Forget reading Rainbow. I was reading Zane. And then she'll come and flick the lights on. I'm like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." So Zane was one of the exotic sides from an author that I loved, and then Carl Weber was like the down to earth me side.
Yeah.
But I stopped reading the Zane books because they were too predictable. Like now I know what the character's gonna do, and I don't like a book where every time I turn the page I'm like, "Oh, okay, she's gonna die at the end." So, but again, shout out to both of them because if you read her and I read her, then that means that she's still living her legacy.
Yes.
So when you're not writing, what do you like to do?
I love traveling.
Big baller.
Well, I said I love to travel.
Oh, okay, right. You didn't say you were traveling.
I'm acting, yeah. Because sometimes I have a lot of other things that I'm trying to do and trying to progress upon. As far as like with my marketing, I have a marketing business that I'm in the process of getting the LLC for, so that I can bring some expos here to Dallas. I'm actually trying to work on this writing expo, a writers expo, in the middle of next year, where I'm going to have some keynote speakers. They're already like, hey, Black, whenever you get that put together, let me know. When I got this, boom, 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 I'll come. And so it's like so many people always tell me, hey, I want to write, but I don't know where to start. But then they want you to take your time out. I can't fulfill what I want to do with, trying to get to what you want to do. So I'm like, okay, let me do an expo so that everyone that has ever wanted to write a book, I'm going to release all my contacts. They're all going to be there. Even all of these authors, that they're going to be there, and I want to have a very famous author to be there as well.
That is going to be epic for the city/state because, as you mentioned, a lot of people love to read. Yeah. A lot of people love to create what we call through social media. Have you ever seen people have scripts and stuff on their pages, but they don't know how to even go to get publishing or how to get any of this? So if you had that expo, you putting the city on your back. That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, because they think that automatically I have to sign with a publisher, or I have to sign with some of these publishing companies where you shell out $2,000-$3,000 for them to, and then they give you so many books, paperback books. No, I'm going to tell you the difference between self-publishing. I've been under publishing companies as well, so I want to tell you the difference between both of those, and and what would work best for you, so that you can keep 100% of your rights and royalties.
You better come through. And I actually had that written down as a question because I was wondering, like, wow, how does one seek publishing? But I don't want you to give out all your secrets because I know you got your expo coming. But from what you're saying, it can be expensive.
It really can, and you want to know the percentages if you do decide to publish under a publisher. You want to know what percentage is too high that the publisher is taking versus what is kind of okay, well, this is pretty reasonable, and all of that is going to be released because there's going to be publishers at the event too.
Right, so they can mark it out.
There's going to be so many people that self-publish, and so you're going to know the differences with it. The only thing kind of different with it is that sometimes the publishers, they have that platform, they have that fan following, and so if you're going to continuously write a book, and you're not just doing a standalone and I just want to write one book and be done, right, then yeah, you may want to self-publish. But if you're wanting to do multiple books, I mean, I'm going to tell you step by step what is going to be best, what avenue is best for you.
So with that being said, that's going to be next year. How are you going to market that event so people that are interested or watching the show across the 50 states plus Puerto Rico, because we added them, how do they get in contact with you to get in this position to get this knowledge?
Well, I have 2 pages on Facebook, a reading group as well as my author author page, right, which is Authors Black Butterfly. Then I have Black Butterflies Den, and it's BLAQ Butterfly, and that is my group. And then I have Viveka Thompson, which is my very first name, Viveka Thompson, as well as V Thompson, VEE. And then I have an Instagram, the_Black Butterfly. Oh man! And then I have, of course, my Snapchat, and then my Twitter. I'm very
You're very reachable. Marketable, right?
Yeah, and then authorisblackbutterfly@gmail.com. That is my email. So if you're not able to find me, authorisblackbutterfly@gmail.com, and I promise you, I respond.
There you have it. That's pretty dope because a lot of people have that crab in the bucket mentality. So they get where they get, and they just like, oh well, I found out the hard way. I'm not going to help people. But there are a lot of people that have tablets of writings and they don't know, well, who do I go through, self-publish or whatever publishing, where do I put this at? Because a lot of people, are they making a mistake when they put their readings on social media?
They are definitely making a mistake, because if you do not have it copywritten, then you're running the risk of someone's taking your ideas and then they can market it as their own, and then it's like boom, you're messed up. Or there is a copyright verbiage that you want to put before you put that, to where it's like, okay, well, if I do steal this, then it is date marked, it's time stamped on when you did post it. So you want to make sure that you're screenshotting and doing whatever it is that you're doing, so that if you do have to take a person to court, then it's like, okay, no, this is my proof that I put this first.
Right. So where do they get that verbiage from to put into their social media platform?
Oh, you can easily Google it. You can easily Google, author copyright verbiage, and then you just make it your own. You're just going to fill in the blanks on your own. So Google will be your very best friend
every day.
But you're always going to want to be on the platform. I had other authors that I was friends with, and they kind of showed me the ropes at the very beginning. But I noticed in the literary game, in the literary world, there are so many authors and publishers sometimes that don't want to release their secrets out of possible fear that, they may be a competitor. Right. And I'm not like that, because your writing style is not the same as mine. And there's still so much money to be made. Just like Eric Jerome Dickey and Carl Weber, they had similar writing styles, but they both still made money. Right. And they're both still in the game. Indeed. And so, you just have to get out of that mentality, and I feel like that's how you're going to be blessed, by
helping somebody else. Okay, so again, I wanted to ask that because I do see a lot of people putting their things in these Facebook, and again, these things are sociable. Once you put something on the internet, it's there for life, whether you delete it or not. So I don't want you guys thinking that, I'm gonna get the exposure when you're really just getting used and somebody else is putting the publishing on their book with your writing in it. There's a lot of people that do that, and even in the comedy world, people steal your jokes.
Oh man,
See them cracking it at another club, so where they wrote it. And then even when you're cooking stuff, they steal your recipes or steal your pictures and pass them off of their own. So you really have to be careful. We know you want the exposure, but again, you're putting a lot of your hard-earned work out there, and somebody that's lazy, I'm gonna call them lazy, that's stealing your credit, and you don't want that. So I'm glad that you said that.
That's exactly what it is, because they want to take that shortcut. They're not wanting to work. Just like I've had people that approach me and they're like, well, what does it take to publish a book?
Right.
And then or to write a book. And I tell them, okay, well, what have you written already? Have you taken any writing courses? Because you want to be able to be so detailed in your books to where it's like, okay, if I say, oh, she was staring straight at me. Right. I can only say that so many times before I say, oh, her almond-shaped eyes were piercing my soul and staring into me. Ooh. Yeah,
that's me right
you know
then.
that you're glaring at me, and then I want to be able to say, yeah, she had her yellow T-shirt, with her sweater. You want those characters that you're describing in this book to be right in front of them. So for it to be a visual movie.
Right, because I think that's what drew me to Carl Weber, because he probably really had a character that looked like XYZ. Right. But when I read it, I had Shamika light skin, bob cut with a long big toe. Like I had a whole nother character. Yeah. And I think that does make for a great writer, because you can have this perception of what that character looked like, and he's never made a character.
Yeah, and when you tell them, okay, well, I don't have time, I don't have the money for any writing classes. Oh, okay, well, have you read any books? What does that have to do? And I have some that get the attitudes, and it's like, if you're not willing to invest that time, then this may not be what you're wanting to do.
Right.
You may want to stick to being a blogger or something like that, to where it's like a little bit more short term.
Short stories, right?
But you don't want to get into this, because you have to invest. You have to invest that time in order to produce very quality product. I can write 36 books right now, but those 36 books are not going to compare to the 3 books that I wrote, because I put my all into it.
There you have it. And I'm glad that you said you have to invest. You're not going to wake up, people, and then tomorrow your little vision that you've been thinking about or sleeping on for 14 years is going to come alive. This stuff takes time. You have to really put in the grind, the blood, sweat, and tears. And I know people see people go social media famous based off of things. That might not be your story, because what's for you is for you. So you really have to make sure that in the 24 hours that we all have, that's the same, you use your time wisely. I know you guys think you just gonna wake up and blow up, but that's not the case. Because you can blow up and still not have any foundation, and you can lose as quick. You are tuned in to Shaunie's World. What's your name? Okay, Boogie, these folks playing on the phone today, ain't it? Not they there?
No, hang on.
Oh, okay. They said, were they breathing heavy? Now, so you gave them a little bit of pointers here. So for your books, how do you come up with these characters? Or is it you? Is it people you know, but you change the names to it?
So many times. It's urban fiction.
Okay.
So it's not nonfiction. Honestly.
Yeah, go ahead, boo.
Okay, and honestly, I come up with the characters. I actually come up sometimes with the name, and then I build off of that name. I build a whole story from off of that name. And my characters, from beginning to end, I eat with them, I sleep with them, we sitting in the living room together. And when I would tell people that, at first they're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy, but
I can't forget this though. You're tuned in to Shaunie's World. State your name. How you pull this whole phone off the line?
Uh-oh.
We're gonna turn it down to the mute. Go ahead.
But from beginning to end, I just make sure that they're with me, because I want to be able to see the drama visually as it unfolds. And sometimes I'll be in a good sleep, and then when I'm dreaming, like, oh my God, Demira did this. Oh yeah. Now I'll get up. I have my little notepad by my bed, and I'm writing it. I'm writing it down.
Yeah,
that's how I build. And so I'll say, for this book, it only took me a month to do.
Only a month.
Yeah.
That seemed like a long time.
No, because you have to look at the editing, the formatting,
Okay,
all of
okay.
that. And so, but it was times like, especially on the weekend, I would literally stay up and only sleep 2 or 3 hours because I was sitting there writing. Oh yeah.
The real hustle and grind. That's exactly, people thought I was crazy, but I will have that same vision about funny instances with jokes. And I wake up and get in my calendar and just put the topic of it. That way I can know how to build. So to hear you say you wake up with characters and scenes on your mind, again, and a person that's talented, man, we don't get that much sleep because ideas is like pop, 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 they popping in your head.
No.
Okay. Well, I will say the characters in this book, again, I was mad, I was happy, and then I was like, oh, I was sad. So the characters, if you make this into a movie, I would love to see what these people look like. Because I already have the visual, like what these characters look like in my mind. I want to see what you're gonna bring out when you bring them together.
Well, see, Sean and Roxy, those characters were derived, not their personality, not their stories in the book, but as far as with the visual image, I did get those from 2 of my friends that I went to school with, and I let them know. I was like, I said, Renika, I'm gonna have Roxy is gonna be you, and she was like, how are you gonna do that? And I was like, just watch me work,
just wait for it.
And then I had my friend Maisha, and I said, hey, I'm gonna put you in this book too. And so it was kind of like, okay, I fed off of their energy and kind of what it is that they wore, how they dressed when they would go out, and then I implemented that into the book.
So have they read this book to see if the characters match them?
Yes.
And what they tell you?
Oh man, they were like, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, when you pay attention, good writers, they pay attention. They're very observative.
Okay.
And so when you pay attention and you're observing, then you're able to get that. You're able to get that even when it's kind of hard. Then you're getting
You're a
it.
bad woman then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So to write a book that you put your blood, sweat, and tears in, roughly it could take you about a month, and that's with everything to fulfill the editing and all of that.
Well, yes, that's only if you already know them. But if you're still kind of searching, it can take a few months.
Okay.
Because you have to do that. You have to get the book covers. There's 2 different types of book covers you need: ebook, and then you need the paperback one. Because the spine has to be stretched for the paperback. You have to do that. You may have to pay someone to do your marketing, because there's some people that do social media promotions, and so it's like, to be able to do all of that, you have to get that together and then send this off to be copywritten to US.
How long does that take, the copyright?
For you to get the paperwork back, it's going to take like at least 3 or 4 months. But you can still go ahead. But once you send it off and submit it, whether you send it by mail, whether you send it electronically, they have it to where you can do it electronically now.
Okay.
Then you already know, hey, I can go ahead and start marketing my books or selling whatever item it is that you want, because they already have it.
Right. It's going to be time stamped for when they get it. That's what's up. Interesting. That is crazy. I never thought all of that went into a book, because when you see a book, you're just like, oh, that's easy. They just did this. So the editing part, the person is going to edit your work. I'm assuming that's a paid professional.
Yeah, unless you just know them, or sometimes that's why some people, they wear many hats when you're an editor, or a writer, because you may have to where it's like, okay, I may not have such a big budget, or to cut costs, let me just learn how to do this along the way. Just like when I first came out with Blind Love, I was signed under a publisher, Ambiance Publishing.
Okay.
And that was Nia Moore. Nia Moore is signed under Zane. Yeah. And so she already has been in the game. So she's one of the ones where she kind of teaches you as well. She was one of those good publishers, I thank God for.
Right.
And so she would do her formatting for all of her authors instead of outsourcing to someone that did the formatting and editing.
Gotcha.
She did
It was
all
in-house. Right. So you knew your editing was going to be stellar because of the people that she edited for.
Yeah.
And then you got your stuff back, you send it to copyright, got your book selection, then you get out with your marketers, and boom, boom, bow.
Yeah, but she actually came up with the I told her what I wanted on the book cover, and she nailed it. There was some guy overseas that did my book cover.
This book cover I'm looking at right here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He did it overseas. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then when it came back, I was like, that's what I
So what if it came back and you didn't like it? Do you just send it back to them and they find another one?
Yeah, sometimes. But see, that's only if you're self-published. Like a lot of times when you're with a publisher, you don't have that type of, you don't really have that much say. Because sometimes like with Nye Moore or with some of the other authors that are mainstream, that have they're published under Simon & Schuster, Kensington, right. They don't really have too much of a say so over what their book covers gonna look like.
It's just, hey, it's kind of like a record label. Mm-hmm. If you're independent, you pushing it, you coming out of pocket. If you go under like Bad Boy, then he got all the rights to your stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're using the terminology self-publishing versus publishing. Mm-hmm. Can you give them the quick breakdown? Because somebody's probably sitting here like, what does that even mean?
Well, publishing is you're signing under someone and then they're taking a portion of your rights and royalties. They're going to take anywhere from 20 to 30%. I've seen some even go up to 70% of your rights and royalties. But what they will do is they will take they will just get 70% of what your ebooks. So they won't really try to take a cut from your paperbacks. And I mean, a lot of authors, when they're signed under a publisher, that's why they will make more money off of their paperbacks. They'll push their paperbacks more than anything because that's the only part where they're going to mainly get 100%. So you have to push thousands of ebooks, thousands on thousands of ebooks in order to even really see sometimes some good profit.
So with that mindset, are you looking at, or do you tell somebody, well, just don't tell nobody, but buy my book? Like, is there a penalty if you don't sell ebooks? Like, are you locked into the contract if you don't sell 50 by XYZ? No, they get 70% of every sale.
Yeah, and sometimes it really just depends on that publisher. I have yet to run into a publisher to where they're like, I better be guaranteed to sell this. It's kind of like you're taking that chance on that author anyway when you sign that contract, because you feel like that they're good enough, that their work is good enough. That's why a lot of publishers tell you, hey, I want you to send me the your first 3 chapters so I can see what your writing style is about. And so some of them, they'll groom you and they'll put you under like a smaller publishing company. Right. And then some, if they feel you're more advanced, then they'll put you under their other company that's out, in the world until they groom you, so it really just depends.
And then self-publishing is just you pushing everything, like you're the independent side of
everything. Yeah. Ooh. And so I always suggest that if you're wanting to write multiple books, I always suggest that to do publishing after you have your fan base, because once you're out on your own, you're pretty much out on your own,
Yeah. I have a question.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So based on the publishing, I mean, there are some people who will give the author advances on the books. Mm-hmm. Is that something that's coming from the publishing house, or is that coming from somewhere else? And you're talking about that 70% that they'll get on the return. Is that based on advance money they've given towards their book deal?
No, sometimes they'll take that, the monies that you're getting from them, they'll take that sometimes out of the advancement. It's just like if you're at a job and you're like, they're like, hey, I'm going to give you this advancement, but you're kind of working for free until you pay that debt back. And so that's kind of what it is. But it really just depends on what the contract reads. A lot of times you're not going to get an advancement if you're, even with some of these publishing companies, if they're not a mainstream publishing company, because a lot of times, like what I mean by that is like the ones to where they're going to have your books in all of the outlets, Barnes and Nobles, Target, Walmart,
Amazon, all that. Okay.
Yeah, but see, you can have the smaller companies, they're going to have it, the smaller publishers will have your books maybe online at Amazon and Barnes and Noble, but not actually at a brick and mortar. So that 70%, they're taking that and they're paying for your book cover, they're paying for your editing, your formatting, and that's pretty much it. They're gonna kind of push a little bit of the promotion, but it's still up to you to pay for some promotion too. Right. So you're using that little 30% to do it.
Ouch, 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 ouch. Because I've seen a lot of people rent out at these expos and stuff and these different vendor events. You'll see somebody with a table pushing books and stuff.
Man.
Because that's how you eat. We were just assuming this is just marketing, but no, this is you eating.
Yeah.
To get your cost back.
Yeah.
It's an expensive world out there.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of like even when it comes down to the CDs, like people that make well, I don't even know, CDs ain't really.
They streaming it now. Shout out to Empire, they streaming it now.
But it's still kind of the same thing, because once you leave a publishing company, they're gonna snatch that book cover away from you, and you got to make your own book cover if you decide to republish that book.
Because it's their stuff.
That's their stuff, and I just thank God that Nia was like, when she closed down her publishing company, she was like, look, Black, you can take your book cover. She was like, because I'm closing my publishing company.
You lucked up for real.
Yeah, but see, on my first one, this is a completely different book cover. This was not my original book cover.
I see. And these are the 3 books that you've published. I know you said you're working on some that you have yet to publish, but these are the 3 that you guys can get on what platforms?
They're on Amazon, they're on Barnes and Noble, and then of course I'm always, traveling with them, so you can always hit me up and I can sign them and send them.
Look, y'all, she signed mine. She ain't lying. And I'm gonna get a picture with her, so she ain't gonna forget me.
Yeah. But I mean, and then I'm working on my 4th one, which is an erotica book, so it's kind of like Zane.
You nasty. You nasty.
I'm sorry. And then I'm going to also do a women's journal, daily women's motivational journal. That'll be my 5th one.
You out here doing big things. So you said you work, and this is one of your things that you're trying to take off on. How do you balance the work and lifestyle? It's hard.
It is hard, and I think it was harder when my son was younger.
Okay.
Now that he's more of a teen, he's well self-sufficient to where he can go off there sometimes and fixing something when I'm not able to. So that helps me, and then sometimes he helps me at some of my expos. So it's a little bit better. It's a little bit easier,
right?
Because my son is just older.
Independent, right?
Yeah.
You want a 3-year-old?
Huh? No.
Hello? I said, do you want a 3-year-old?
Don't you try to give me your baby.
Don't say I ain't offering you nothing. That's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't want to take what I'm giving you. You pick and choose. You can't pick and choose what I want to give you. Just say yes.
Oh my goodness.
His bag is in the car.
But he is, you know what? But he is adorable. Her son is adorable.
He bad,
and that little spider video, oh my God, I died laughing so
bad
hard.
kids don't for that.
Well, he wasn't paying attention. That's what it was.
He was busy trying to lick the spider.
Yeah, he didn't fake.
I'm like, boy, sit down. Sit your butt down. He bad.
But so it's kind of like you have to know the balance, and I guess I've been in it so long to where I kind of know, okay, I know I'm going to write 5,000 words tonight, and it's going to take me 2 to 3 hours versus it used to take me 5 or 6.
Right, you're getting better. You fast, because you a beast at this, man. I didn't know you had. We met in a secret location, but we or in passing, and I will always, because if I see somebody enough, then I consider us passerbyers. Like, hey, good morning. Right. Never knew her name, but I always be like, what's up, Queen? How you doing? Keep it walking and keep it moving. But we were at another event together, and we from that was like hit it off. And now it's like you support, I support. But that's what you have to do. A lot of you guys are like, I don't know that person. I ain't gonna talk to them. You're passing your blessing by, because you don't know what that person has to bring to your life. That's true. So when I say friend, I don't use that lightly. Exactly. So I'm hoping and I'm rooting for your success. K Boogie. We're going to hit her with this altar call. This is another part of she's like, what is more? This is another part of the show, and I've learned that people don't listen unless you got gospel music. You hear that? Hello, hallelujah.
Yeah, they're going to listen now.
So somebody wrote into me, and they're going to ask me a question, and we're going to see if we can give them a little assistance. There's no wrong answer.
Okay.
But they just need some guidance.
Okay.
This was subject a disrespectful husband. I'm a happily married woman who enjoys the simple things in life. I've been married to my husband for 3 years, but we dated for 6. Our relationship has been amazing throughout those years, but recently things have changed. My husband has become this controlling freak, and it all started out when he attended a groomsmen party at a strip club. I don't know what they did to my husband, but since then he has been extremely out of hand. He spent $300 on costumes and toys, thinking I was going to engage into his madness. This makes me feel somewhat as if I'm not doing the right thing in bed, because he felt the need to go over the line with that. I spoke to him numerous times about this, and he feels like he's sparking up the intercourse. A couple of nights ago, while being at work for a 16-hour shift, I came home to a man dressed in a thong. And he had whips and chains to his waist. I couldn't help but to laugh at first, but Suddenly, he became upset. He just taking this way too far, Shaunie B. So once again, I spoke to him about this crap, and he continues to think that this is cute. So I'm sitting at work researching some stuff, and he called me claiming he needed help with something. As I walked in, I find him naked with a Jerry curl wig. I didn't think Jerry curls still exist. I couldn't help but to cry, but this was not only upsetting me, but it's getting the best of me because it's stressing me out to the point that all I do now is cry. He's ruining our relationship, and I'm afraid I'm going to walk out on him if he keeps up with this childish behavior. Can you help me with this husband of mine? So, since you have an erotic book coming out, what do you want to give this anonymous writer as advice?
Well, I would say, first of all, I don't believe that he's ruining the relationship. I think that it's actually her. Because it's all about being open and being spontaneous. And keeping that fire burning. Maybe he feels like, okay, after this so long, that we've been married for so long, kind of spicing it up. When he went to this party, I can pretty much guarantee he saw some little toys and stuff, and he wanted to try that. At least he's want to try it with you and not with someone else.
Hallelujah.
And so at the end of the day, it's all about you guys talking about it, and then you finding that comfortable spot, like finding that happy medium. And that's the issue with why some men are not so open with women, because it's like when they tell you some of their deepest sexual fantasies, it's kind of like they get laughed at or they get shot down.
Right.
And so some of these men are leaving to some of these other women because they're a little bit more open, you know? And so it's all about finding a happy medium and being open with each other. Because she never knows, she might like it. I would have laughed with the little Jerry curl.
I laughed reading this about the Jerry curl.
I'm like, you got a wig with the little braids with the little knocker beads. I'm gonna go and get into character too.
That's it. You hit it right on the head. I think, like you said, a lot of times when guys finally open up about how nasty they are, people tend to say ew. But what I'll say to you, ma'am, you said y'all have been married for 3 years together or dated for 6. So that's a long time to be doing the same old two-step. And now times are changing to where people are being more exotic and being more submissive about certain things. Now, maybe y'all need to sit down and have that conversation about what is too far off the cliff versus what some things you might want to try. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, maybe y'all can start out slowly by doing a little bit of porn. I ain't no sex educator. You can watch The Kink for that, but you might want to like find out what turns both of you guys on and meet in the middle. Because like you said, it's another woman out here that's nasty. Not that she's nasty with no morals, but she's willing to go over.
She's just a little bit more explorative, I would say. Because to me, I don't see nothing wrong with anything that she said.
That this wasn't over the board. Now she would have came in.
I've seen to where she just better be happy that he wasn't talking about another woman being in that bed.
And that's the whole thing.
That's what the majority of these men, or it's not majority of some of the men that want to be explorative. That's their definition of being explorative. He wants to try new things with his wife. I would have surprised him one day and just threw a whole bunch of toys that I don't went to the store, this adult store, and got, but it's all about just spicing it up. And maybe he was trying to spice it up. He ain't doing it with nobody else.
He had that thong on. That man hit that bed with them whips and chains. He had it all hooked up to himself. Well, again, we don't think that he's taking it too far, because it still sounds kind of like basic level sexual, it just sound basic. It didn't sound like he wanted to insert anything in the wrong holes. He didn't have any fruit dripping off the ceiling. Like, it didn't sound like he was going to need some insurance with this situation.
And some of them you may need a little insurance, but see, I'm saying that you talking to the wrong person when it comes down to this. So you definitely gonna want to read my 4th book, everyone, because that one is called The Sweet Taste of Chocolate and Honey, a Melanine Masquerade.
Okay, that topic right there just got me saying, ooh. All I can tell you, ma'am, is just find out what your freak limit is and find out what his is. His is just chains, whips, and a Jerry curl wig. I have some questions though. When you came in and he was laying on that bed, did he have some socks on? Because guys just want to have these white socks on with the little felt balls on them. Be weird.
And was the Jerry curl dripping He gotta have the soul glow.
I was gonna say, was it soul glow?
In order for it to be right.
Was he shaved up and groomed up? Because y'all be having that little Kunta Kinte hair going down your thighs. It'd be okay. Was his hygiene up to date? We gotta ask. She over there laughing. We gotta ask these questions because I could see it.
We're dealing with Shaunie B. Shaunie B.
Listen, I got a visual.
Funny, y'all.
A visual mind. When I read stuff, I have a dark spirit about it, so I have to find out. But again, I don't think he's overdoing it. I think, again, spicing up with you and only you is beneficial for y'all relationship. Maybe after 16 hours, you do need some different type of sex because you may be a missionary sister. He may want to flip you over and listen. We're not here for that part, but he may want to do some extra remix into y'all bedroom life.
Yeah,
I think it's cute. I really do. I wish I would have knew how old you guys were though, because then it kind of would help me. Because if you 85,
like they could be a little bit older, like maybe in their 30s or 40s. But then,
right.
You know, you can. It's all about kind of her. She's
stuck in her ways.
And she's church. This is how it's supposed to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't say anything in the Bible about you can't use things to make things happen. You know. So
again, he went to a strip club, ma'am. So he already done seen the highest limit of how far people will go. So you might want to step it up a little bit. For he be out there with Takesha every Thursday with y'all money. He's spending it.
All of them.
Because they make it clap. You know, baby, I be trying to pick me up some secrets and tips myself. Man. But there's nothing wrong with living outside of the bubble sometimes. Just spice it up, man. Don't lose your husband.
Now she gonna come home one day. He gonna have that pole in the room. But see, the thing is she keep turning down so many more times to where he's going to go into that shell, and then it's going to cause one or two things to where he's going to probably question if I can deal with this for the rest of my life, or he's going to start looking at women that could possibly
fill that void. Yeah, that's the sad part, because once they stop, the fun don't stop. So good luck with your situation, girl. Just come in there greased up or something. Put some pineapples on your areolas. Do something different.
Do something.
Girl, some whipped cream.
Some cherry juice.
Cherry juice.
Inbox me.
Inbox her. Matter of fact, since we're at this part of the show, go ahead and give them your platforms again so they can know what they need to do to reach you. Not only will she help you with some publishing stuff, ask about the nasty stuff too.
Yeah, I got you. It's The Black Butterfly on Instagram, Vivica Thompson and V Thompson. I have 2 pages on Facebook. Black Butterflies. Den is my reading group. And then if you just want to hit me up, inbox me or email me at authorisblackbutterfly@gmail.com and holler at me.
There she goes. She says she's not the crab in the bucket type. So you guys, now don't ask her for all the Jackson trades, because again, there is limits to it. She can't give you everything up front. So the expo is coming. If you guys know me, you cool with me, fool with me, I'll be putting her stuff on my page as well, so the city of Dallas can know what's popping. So for me, definitely keep up with me on my website, ShaunieBentertainment.com. Facebook, you can catch me doing Shaunie's World. That's Shaunie BENT. YouTube, that's my favorite, Shaunie B Entertainment. And then Instagram is Shaunie_B_entertainment. Too many ways to support us for the free, y'all.
Exactly.
So you guys have tuned in to another Shaunie's World here at the KMWI-Media Studio. Shout out to that caller that could not catch what I was spelling.
Oh, that was so funny.
But I appreciate the love to all of you guys. Shout out to my engineer.
That was Anwar, girl.
Yeah.
That was my boyfriend.
Oh, boyfriend. Shout out. He said, is it KW? Is it Europe? That's good. The support is real. Yeah. Shout out to K Boogie, my engineers on the 1s and 2s. Y'all will catch me another time in the month, man. I appreciate you for blessing my platform. And again, I got my autograph, honey. Y'all better get y'all book. Get Black Love. Hit up. We out this thing. Peace.
It's your girl, Shaunie B. And if you're cool, you got to do